What are you hungry for? What are you hungry for? What are you hungry for? Your hunger reveals your direction. Sit with that question and that statement for a little bit, right? I want you to picture, right? Sit there for 30 seconds. Pause the video if you need to. Sit there for 30 seconds to a minute and just think for a second. What are you hungry for? Not food, right? What are you hungry for in life? What do you truly desire in life? What do you truly want? And I will say it again. Your hunger reveals your direction. Hunger is not just physical. People crave hunger emotionally, mentally, spiritually, creatively, socially, and psychologically. What you keep craving, feeding, chasing, entertaining, and returning to eventually starts shaping your life. What you keep craving, feeding, chasing, entertaining, and returning to eventually starts to shape your life. So, if you hunger for approval, distraction, lust, comparison, revenge, escape, or control, your life slowly starts to bend toward those things. If you hunger for approval, distraction, lust, comparison, revenge, escape, or control, your life will slowly start to bend toward those things. Now, on the vice versa, if you hunger for God, righteousness, peace, truth, discipline, purpose, service, healing, and creation, your life will start moving in that direction. It starts to move differently. So then the question becomes not just what do I want? The deeper question is, and the question we need to continuously ask ourselves on our day-to-day basis and remind ourselves is, what am I hungry for? Or what is worthy of leading me? Or it can become and. So what am I hungry for? And is it worthy of leading me? Back there is my little wall of things to keep me focused. Anytime I feel the pull of anything negative that could possibly pull me out of what I need to focus on, I look to that wall and it reminds me to keep going, pretty much. And I want you to find your own thing that helps you to keep going. Your hunger reveals your direction. What you keep feeding will eventually start leading. So be very, very mindful of what you feed to yourself and what you consume. When people hear hunger, they usually think about food, right? But I think we are hungry in a lot of ways. Spiritually, emotionally, socially, creatively. All of these aspects. People can hunger for attention, validation, lust, control, escape, comfort, comparison, revenge, status, distraction, being seen, being right, feeling powerful, feeling wanted. But the duality of humanity, right? People can also hunger for God, righteousness, peace, truth, discipline, purpose, service, clarity, healing, creation, true love, wisdom, and alignment. Hunger is direction before it becomes behavior and it precedes reality as it is. You see, the scary thing about hunger is that it grows based on what you feed. If you feed distraction, distraction gets louder. If you feed lust, lust gets louder. If you feed comparison, comparison gets louder. If you feed fear, fear gets louder. If you feed resentment, resentment gets louder, etc., etc. And you may say, Mino, that's so negative, right? But remember, bro, there is an opposite. To every reaction, there's an opposite. I forgot the phrase. I forgot the phrase. But anyways, the opposite is true too. There is an opposite, right? Opposites attract. So if you feed discipline, discipline gets stronger. If you feed faith, faith gets stronger. If you feed peace, peace gets stronger. If you feed creation, creation gets stronger. If you feed gratitude, gratitude gets stronger. If you feed these things, they get stronger, and it depends on what you feed. That becomes who you are. So whatever I keep feeding starts asking for more. Appetite is a trained thing, and your life starts bending toward what you repeatedly feed. Matthew 5:6 says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied." This verse means so much to me because it reminds me continuously to keep going. This verse hits because it does not just say, blessed are the people who casually like righteousness. No, it says hunger and thirst. That means direction, desire, have an appetite for it, a deep need for what you believe truly is right at the end of the day, without judgment of other people and other things. And then it made me ask myself, what am I actually hungry for? Not what do I say I value, right? Not what sounds good, not what looks spiritual, but what do I return to when nobody's watching? You are the sum of the person that is when no one's watching you, not what people watch. Because when you're around people, it is a mask. It is a caricature of yourself. You're hyping things up. You're putting things up and you're putting things down, hiding things and exposing other things, right? This isn't that. Who you truly are is who you are when no one's watching, when only the high one can watch you, right? So righteousness is not just behavior; it is an appetite redirected towards God. What I hunger for shows what I believe will satisfy me. The thing I keep returning to is usually the thing I believe that can feed me. Now, sometimes the wrong hunger does not announce itself as wrong. It can sound normal. It can sound harmless. It can sound like I just need to scroll for a little bit. Oh, let me open Twitter and go look on this one. You know what I'm saying? Just open Twitter, right? And then scroll. Ooh, you got some fine shit right there. And we all know what happens once you start going down that rabbit hole, right? You go on Instagram. Just watch a couple reels. We all know what happens when you go down that rabbit hole. You on there for 3 hours, bro. I'll watch one video, 4 videos. I'll play one game. You're playing for 4 hours. I just need a little validation. You know, I just want to hear someone say this fit's fire. Then you don't hear it. This fit must be trash. I just need to prove them wrong. I just need to look better before I start. I just need more attention. I just need to escape this feeling. I need to numb myself. I just need to entertain this thought for 1 second. I just need to react. But, bro, this shit gets real, bro. It may actually be hunger for peace, love, safety, direction, confidence, God, meaning, rest, connection. Keep in mind, I only swear when I'm emphasizing a point. So I really mean what I'm saying. Identity, and most importantly. Underneath all that, it may actually be hunger for peace, love, safety, direction, confidence, God, meaning, rest, connection, and identity. Do we have our own true identities? Or are we just following what's going on in the world? Do we have our own true identities? Do we have an identity we can return back to every single time something may happen? Do you? Do you truly have one? If you don't, then you better get to looking. And you better disconnect from the world before the world takes control of you. Sometimes the thing I chase is not actually what I'm hungry for. It is just the closest imitation of it. Let that be what it wants to mean to you, right? A book I've been reading, The Screw Tape Letters, is a collection of stories written by his name is Lewis. I think C.R. Lewis, right? But this book has been teaching me how Satan really works, how temptation, lust, how all those truly works. It is not some big event where he's going to drag you to hell and all these things are going to happen, right? Where he's going to throw all this flame and fire and brimstone at you or some shit, right? No. No. One thing I got from the book is that temptation does not always need to destroy you dramatically. Sometimes it only needs to knock you off slightly off center. Just slightly, just enough to make you question or doubt yourself. Not every attack looks like a huge fall. Sometimes it is one distraction, one scroll, one lustful thought that you entertain instead of redirect. I know we've had that before, where we think, man, that's some fine shit, bro. Bro. You know what I'm saying? You entertain it, then it shows more. Then the feeling gradually rises until, bro, I gotta release this energy, if you know what I mean. Unless you got the epidemic of gooners. Right? I don't look as good. Bro, I just need to follow this one little course. Suddenly we got look smashers. Not saying looking good is not a good thing, but I'm talking about people who overdo it. One resentment feed, thus we got hatred and jealousy and envy. One small compromise, now we've compromised our character and who we say we are, and you've compromised your morals and values. We've seen it, we've done it before. It doesn't mean we can't return. One skip prayer, or one skip thing that you know you need to do. Bro, I didn't do it last night, so I'm gonna do it tomorrow. That's me with the, oh shoot, my that's died. But that's what I was saying. One skipped event. Like for me, example, last night I was supposed to record some music, but I was playing with my friends, so I said I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it today, and now today I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna not do it, because just one skipped event, if you don't keep it checked, it's gonna become 2, then 2 to 4, then 4 to 8, and so on and so on. So you need to be consistent. If you skip a day, that's okay, but just remember to come back to it, and come back to going on what you are supposed to be doing. One emotional reaction. When we react from our emotions instead of our mind, instead of thinking everything, instead of thinking things through, having intuition and rationalities to keep going, right? And to say, maybe I shouldn't respond like that. Maybe I should think this through. But when we think from the emotional, we tend to make things that we tend to do or say or think things that we may regret. One, I'll do it later. We never do it later. One tiny agreement with the old self can lead you back to becoming the old self. One moment where you let the wrong hunger lead, it's cooks. But remember, you can come back to this. You can come back. That's when the direction starts bending. Not all at once, slightly, quietly, repeatedly. Sometimes temptation doesn't need to take you out. It only needs to turn you slightly away. A small drift repeated long enough becomes a different destination. There are old loops that try to feed on certain hungers, boredom, loneliness, insecurity, lust, comparison, frustration, and if I feed them, they get louder and I can't fight them. Then, the old appetite does not need my agreement to appear, but it needs my feeding to grow. So you don't feed it. It sounds easier said than done, but if you practice the art of not feeding the old you will cease to exist. I also hunger to create, to make beats, to record, to be a generational person, to be someone who has immense influence and good, someone who can change the world, someone who can build. I'll leave it right there, right? To build something real, right? But I also have to keep that hunger clean, because even a good hunger can become corrupted if it turns into ego, pressure, validation chasing, or trying to prove something from a wound. So I often release myself from the outcome and just enjoy the journey like I am right now. Even a good hunger needs God, or it can become an idol. When I walk, pray, shower, produce, record, or take the next clean action, I'm feeding the version of me that wants true alignment with who I am and who I am becoming. Every clean rep feeds the right hunger. I want you to make it practical. When you're redirecting the right hungers, ask these 5 questions. 1, what am I craving right now? Truly be honest with yourself. Be brutally honest. Because that's where a lot of our negative emotions and stuff come from. It comes from asking yourself. If you ask yourself these 5 questions, a lot of those emotions will be null and void, and you can figure out the right responses to them. What am I craving right now? Is it faith? Is it relationship? Is it security? Is it a strong identity? Then 2, what do I think this will give me? This is especially a question for the negative aspects. If there is something that you may feel the temptation to do, think of it. What will this truly give me? Will this give me value? Will this give me something that will allow me to grow? Or will this set me back? The answer is pretty obvious from right there. Number 3, is this feeding the old self or the aligned self? That question can discern 99% of your problems right there. Is it feeding the old you or the aligned you? And if you can answer that question truthfully, then you're pretty well off. Number 4, what would actually satisfy the deeper need? What truly would satisfy the aligned version of you, not what you feel in the moment, what the aligned version of yourself needs. And number 5, is this hunger leading me closer to God or further from Him? True question. Is it leading you closer to God or further from him? Figure it out. That's a very important question. Is it leading you closer to God or further from him? Because leading it further from him, then you don't have no need to be doing it. Hunger for scrolling might be hunger for rest or direction. Hunger for validation might be hunger for self-control or God's approval. Hunger for lust might be hunger for connection, discipline, or emotional regulation. Hunger for control might be hunger for faith. Hunger for escape might be hunger for peace. Hunger for revenge might be hunger for justice, but without surrender. I do not defeat the wrong hunger by pretending it's not there. I redirect it toward what actually feeds me. Over time, your hunger becomes your path. Not because one craving ruins your life, but because repeated feeding forms direction. If you keep feeding noise, you become scattered. Comparison, you become bitter. If you feed lust, you become divided. If you feed fear, you become avoidant. If you feed resentment, you become hardened. If you keep feeding distraction, you become numb. But on the vice versa, if you keep feeding faith, you become rooted. If you feed discipline, you become reliable. If you feed creation, you become fruitful. If you feed purpose, you become useful. If you feed truth, you become clear. If you feed gratitude, you become lighter. And if you feed service, you become less self-obsessed. My life and your life follows what you consistently feed it. The appetite you train today becomes the direction you live tomorrow. So the question is not just what do I want? The deeper question is what am I hungry for and what is worthy of leading me? I want hunger for what builds me, what cleans me, what brings me closer to the higher one, what makes me more disciplined, more loving, more useful, more alive. More alive, bro. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to feel. More alive. More fucking alive. More alive. More alive. So when I get knocked off slightly center, I don't need to return or turn that into a full fall of grace. I return. I redirect. I feed the right hunger system again. What you hunger for will lead you. Choose what feeds the person you are becoming. Your hunger reveals your direction, so feed what leads you back to the higher one, to God, to whatever higher power you believe in. Because there is a higher power of some sort. Whatever you name it, Allah, God, anything, right? You will be great. Your hunger will reveal its direction. What you keep feeding will eventually start leading. So what you hunger for will lead you. Choose what feeds the person you are becoming. I love y'all. Peace out.